wrestling, they can never be you.
All right, folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I'm your host, Conrad Cushman. Today, we have a special interview talking WWE 2K25 with the godfather, I have this trademarked, of pro wrestling video games, Bryan Williams. Bryan,
What's
how
up,
are you,
brother?
my brother?
I'm doing good, man. You got to stop with this Godfather pro wrestling thing, man. I'm not that old, bro.
Listen, you run it, man. I just got to let them know. We
No.
appreciate it. I wanted to start off everything. I want to let people know I will try to do a couple like super chat questions, but I'm promising everyone if there's a million of them coming in, I can't get to all of them. I promise you. I had that last year. I don't want that to happen again. So I'm just trying to be straight up with people and get into that. But we got Bryan here. Let's try to knock out as many of these as we can. And afterwards, make sure you go over to see just Bryan and the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Bryan will be over there as well. If you don't hear your question answered, it's probably because it's going to be on there. We kind of all coordinated together. But that's a little inside baseball for you guys.
Collusion.
A little collusion so that we can get the most out of this for the community. Bryan, I want to start off things with gameplay for WWE 2K25.
Yeah.
I had some fan questions asking, can we bring back quick grapples to the series? Just moves to like a heavy attack category, moves that could be performed without a combo or a tie-up and like involved with it. Is that something that we'll see this year or something that, you guys have thought about?
It's not something you'll see this year. I will say, I guess the closest approximate that we have to quick grapples in the game now, and this is nothing new, we've had them, are the heavy attacks, which you can initiate with the A button. These aren't grapples per se, but some of them, the grapple like. But beyond that, no. As far as no quick grapples for 2K25, is it something that maybe we can reintroduce later in the franchise? I mean, of course, potentially, if there is enough of a clamor for it. Because we're always, discussing our grapple system and the benefits, the pros and cons of it. So it is something that we can discuss. But for 2K25, no, there will be no quick grapples.
All right, I'm sticking on the gameplay, my friend.
Good, that's what I know.
Limb damage effects. People are just wondering why hasn't it returned to the series yet? They love it. They want to see like superstars holding body parts again, maybe like your legs worked over, they grab the leg, they hold the stomach, the head, arms.
Yeah.
Is that something that can be incorporated? Is there something that's like holding it back or anything?
No, I mean, this is something that's been discussed like routinely, like since I got back onto the franchise. And I know that we're heading in that direction. I work closely with the gameplay animators, and it's been discussed. It's definitely where we are headed. So we're gonna get there. Holding a body part, showing that pain is one part of it, but also just having potential like gameplay effects of having a busted leg, of having a busted arm. Because we used to support these things, way back in the older THQ games, where you work somebody's leg and it can impact their running ability, or you work somebody's arm and it reduces their effectiveness at submissions. So these are all things that we are aware of and are working towards redoing yet again and doing them better than they were before. It's just a lot of animation work, obviously. I mean, and that's really the biggest thing of it. It's just it's a very heavy lift on the animation side. But again, it's not that it can't be done. We just have to kind of prioritize, what's what.
Yeah, and you guys have done and added a lot of stuff already to the gameplay. And this one's not so much gameplay, but people were asking within showcase mode, are there still some unlockables, something in there that they are going to have to find, little treasures, things like that?
Oh yeah, showcase is always got unlockables. You kidding me? It's like that's yeah. I mean, we have those objectives there for a reason. So we want you to complete them, not just for the enjoyment of the match, but so that you can unlock content for having done so. And no, there's a lot of cool unlockables in showcase this year, in my opinion. I love what Dino, our showcase designer, him and his team have done this year. It's I think it's really, really cool. got back kind of like to the old schoolness of Showcase with the cutscenes and I like the fact that we've mixed it up where we've got matches that are based on history, and then others that are more like kind of fantasy type things. Having a team like I think it's the like the Wild Samoans, like how would they fare against the Dudleys, things like that. It adds a lot more unpredictability outside of just constantly doing history, 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 history. It's like it's just a celebration of this family who's been doing it for as long as they have.
Yeah, I feel the Legends of WrestleMania inspiration. I've been around a long time, so I liked what you guys like implemented in there this year with that. That was really cool. Um, Intergender.
Yeah.
That's back in the game. People are happy. I'm happy. It opens up way more options for people. Um, with intergender matches returning to the series, can people like I guess I'm asking what are the limitations for it? Like, can people create mixed tag team titles now? What can people do with that?
Well, in terms, I mean, the mixed, what'd you call it? The mixed
In
tag team titles. That I'm not actually 100% sure on, but outside of that, I mean, yeah, it's intergender matches are back, and the only limitation on the gameplay side has to do with blood, where you know women can bleed this year, but only if they're in a match against another female. If you are a male wrestling against a female, then blood is just not going to happen. But barring that, it's no. It's like if anybody wants to set up, China versus Eddie Guerrero, Nia Jax versus Andre the Giant. It's like the world's your oyster. Have at it. Because you said it before, where it was like it just opens up so many more matchmaking opportunities. And if you're a fan who maybe is not into the intergender wrestling, then that's fine too. You don't have to, incorporate it. It's not anything that we're going to force on anybody. Um, Especially like in some of the other modes that are predicated, like Universe, for example, or excuse me, or like My GM, where those two modes are very structured in how they operate. They're very much based off of the current WWE program, right? So in those, you may find some restrictions as far as when it comes to titles that some of the that women can hold versus what the men can hold. But that's more or less like a game design, reasons because we're trying to be as authentic to WWE programming as possible. Not to say that maybe one day down the road we'll, maybe kind of rejigger some things to make that available. But beyond that, it's like no, it's like take a Rhea Ripley and have her run through. In fact, there's an achievement. I came up with an achievement where you've got to use Rhea Ripley to basically get wins over everybody in Judgment Day. So it's that's gonna be a cool one.
I like it. I like it. GM mode. You added something that I like. Can get online with your friends and do all that
Yeah.
stuff. Now, overall question for GM mode: if we're playing online with our friends, like, do we still have it where it's set up to your best match is like you have to do Rey Mysterio versus Andre the Giant? That'll be your best match, or can we turn off all the rules and you and your friends just go to work, have fun, do whatever you're gonna do?
You know what? I actually don't know the answer to that question. I don't deal a lot with my GM and the options and those type of things. So I can get back to you about that, or Al, we'll get back to you with that answer. But it's online for the first time this year, as you mentioned, which is great. But yeah, that particular question, I'm not entirely sure.
Love it, love it. Okay, we'll get back to that one. Universe mode fans in the chat, I see everybody in here. I see you want universe stuff. With universe mode, are we getting show intros brought back into that by any chance, or has there been much done to it besides I know promos are back?
Yeah, promos are back. The show intros, I do not believe that they are. I actually got asked this in my previous interview. And I know that the fans have been, clamoring for its return. But for us, and it's one of those things we'll take into consideration. I know the team um, has heard, fans' response to this, wanting to show intros back. For us, it's more of like a gameplay thing, where in terms of like, you're starting your week, it's like it can kind of get long in the tooth where you're playing multiple weeks at a time and you're having to constantly just kind of button through. Like, look, I just want to get to the start of my week and my show. But look, never say never. If it comes out that fans really want that back, I'm sure the team will listen.
Respect. I guess we'll get into creation questions now. People want to know, can their cause be imported from different modes? I guess once you create someone, are you able to still plug them into My Rise, and can you plug them in even to the new island mode that's going to be around?
You can definitely import your custom character into My Rise. We supported this in 2K24. For the island is its own kind of ecosystem, and the island is based off of your custom character, but there's also a bunch of like island exclusive things that happen in that island. So I'm not sure if you can actually import the character, and if you can, it might you might be able to just import the look of the guy or gal, but I'm not sure if everything else is gonna follow suit. Because again, the island, you just kind of consider it. It's almost like its own separate. It really is its own separate area mode of the game that is kind of apart from everything else.
Okay, and then sticking with creations, has anything been done to improve other areas, body morphing, hairstyles, anything cool that you remember being added into the create a wrestler section?
Again, I don't have much day-to-day interaction with the create mode and what they are doing for the game, so I don't want to sit up here and say something that ends up not being true. All I can say is that our create mode team, especially when it comes to custom superstar, they're always looking for ways to improve their mode, whether it's the options that players have to create their character, of course adding new parts. I mean, that's just something we do each and every year. New parts that the team adds, plus any new wrestler that we add into the game each year, their parts are converted into cast parts as well. So fans can look forward to that.
Okay. Yeah, and I know that they're adding in a lot of like the superstar pieces, like hair for certain
Yeah.
wrestlers that are already in the game. I don't Do you know if there's any limitations to that for like this person's hair couldn't make it in the game because it's, I don't know, it's too wild. It's
Yeah, no, I don't honestly nothing to that, specificity. I could answer.
yeah, I see the chat wanting to know. Okay. There is a question as far as community creations is concerned.
Yeah.
People are wondering, will community creations still have that connectivity amongst PC, PlayStation, Xbox?
All right, so yeah, this is a great question. I know, yeah, I've seen people talking about this online. So the community creations that cross platform support, due to hardware limitations with old gen consoles and PC specs, because I mean it's hard for us to gauge the type of rig that everybody's playing on, and so the limitations that we have, which honestly, I mean, look, there's some limitations. It's something that is just due to the hardware. If you're playing on last gen, you can connect with each other. If you're playing on current gen, you can connect with each other. So PC to PS4 and that older Xbox, what was it? Xbox, was it one? They can speak to each other in essence. If you're playing on PS5, Xbox Series X, you can then connect with each other and share content via community creations.
Okay.
But again, I mean that's for 2K25, right? I mean the island is something that's brand new for us this year, and we just wanted to make sure that that experience is as solid and as fun as it could possibly be. I mean, obviously this is something that moving forward, if we can potentially figure out ways to lessen these restrictions, we will. But we didn't want to do anything this year, by introducing this brand new mode. We wanted our first impression to be a good one, and we didn't want to have any sort of like outlier, factors getting in the way that would interfere with people's experience with the island. And so, yeah.
Okay. And I this will be the last one that I'll try and get in as many community ones until I get the wrap it up. Announce teams. People are wondering, will we ever get like announce teams? How do I want to put this? factored back in. Like, it's not the regular announced teams that we hear on television every week.
Yeah.
It's still Byron Saxton, Michael Cole, and Corey Graves, I
Corey
believe.
Graves. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any chance of an update in the future for that? I know everyone can see who it is already, or even with the ring announcers, anything you could provide for that.
Yeah, the commentators is definitely something that the audio team I've heard rumblings that, I mean, it's something that they would like to do, obviously, for sure. It's just a matter of, it's you could probably imagine. I mean, when it comes to recording brand new content and implementing all of the new content, it's a pretty heavy lift. So we do not have that in 2K25, but that's not to say that we will, fans can't won't see this in future iterations of the game, because I know, like, our audio team, like, they are very you know very good at what they do, and they're very proud of what they do, and they want this as more as the fans, to have these appropriate commentators for each brand. So it's something that we are aiming for, and I know that, with the folks that I work with, we will get there someday soon.
Okay. I'm gonna try
And you mentioned the ring announcers. What was the question about the ring announcers?
the ring announcers was basically last year we had like Samantha
Irving,
Samantha's
yeah.
gone. Yeah,
Right.
she's out. Are we going to be able to still switch people? Is Lillian back in? Is it just Mike Rome this year, or
You can switch people like you could in 2K24. So our announcers are Alicia Taylor and Rome. And again, Lillian, she came back, a little bit too late in the development cycle, but she sticks around. I mean, I'm sure she'll be added into the next one. But you can still customize the ring announcers for sure.
Love it, love it. I'm gonna try and get a couple of these in. I don't think I'll be able to get to all of them, as I put in the pinned chat before. JCSJ, shout out to him, underrated creator in the community. He says, will we ever get legitimate crawling mechanics, realistic rope breaks, 5-count submission system? Because we're back to the cat and mouse wheel.
Yeah, I really want to get that 5-count back. We used to have that in the older games, being able to maintain hold of a submission as a ref counts, and then being able to manually release it. So that is something on my radar that I would love to see back in the game. And as far as like the crawling, I mean, both of those things are things that we talk about, pretty regularly amongst the team. So would not be surprised to see those make a return.
Okay. And I'll make Lee Valentine's the last one here. Guys, I see your other ones. I'll see if I can get something from Bryan afterwards on these, or at least I'll share the info, because I know some of them are just comments for the team. Lee Valentine says, will wig physics be improved? Since 2K24, some of the wigs, mostly women, have been worse than in 2K22-23. We need more fluid movement, not glued to the bod. So she's a big creator in the community.
Wig physics. That's funny. The hair we have a brand new vendor that we're using for our hair this year, and I think it looks a lot better than it did in previous. This vendor is great. An example that I can point to is Kaylani Jordan. Her hair looks fantastic, and definitely, in my opinion, doesn't have the issues that you mentioned here, Lee. So I mean, look, I mean, it's one of those things that, I mean, hair's always kind of been something that the modeling team or character team has always been looking to improve upon. And I think we made some really good strides this year in that effort. But look, I mean, you guys are the fans. You'll let us know if we haven't. So, but I think we made some really good steps this year.
Yes. And I know some people in the chat have more stuff in there. Trust me, some of this stuff's going to be answered, like unsanctioned TV. I know what you put in the chat is going to be answered on another stream. I promise you, my brother. So I'm not ignoring you. I actually respect your work, love what you do as well. And some of the other ones in here, I know they're going to be answered on the other streams. So I will leave this here. I will send any feedback that you've sent in here to Bryan and the team. Bryan, I will let you sell this game, my brother, and you could take us out of here, my guy. Like, it's fun doing this interview with you.
Yeah, it's fun doing this with you too. It's always good talking to you, man. WWE 2K25, it's coming out in March. I actually forget the date on the top of my head. But it's, if you were a fan of 2K24, or if you haven't played one of these games in a while, this is the one to that you're going to want to have in your system. It's at the end of the day, I think it's just a blast to play. The gameplay has been improving in this franchise year over year since 2K22, the bounce back year, and it continues in 2K25. I mean, all the cool things that I discussed in this interview with Conrad, plus the return of chain wrestling, brand new match type with the underground match, which has quickly become a favorite of mine, and it's something wholly different and unique from any other match in the game. A showcase that is equal parts historic with equal parts, fantasy matchmaking elements, themed all around the bloodline, and just the sheer amount of characters, new characters that you can get from the game. Superstars who have never been in the game before, the Islanders, Haku, Tama, the Head Shrinkers. It's just a great celebration of that family, and the island. Hey, this is a brand new mode for us, and I think it's fun, and I think people are really going to enjoy the experience, and it's going to be one of the it's an area of the game that is going to be um, given added new content as we get deeper into our post launch, and I know what the final end game is, and it's freaking dope. And so yeah, if you're a fan of pro wrestling, you love the graps, pick up WWE 2K25. You'll be glad you did.
I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man.
Tell the team we said thank you. And everyone, I know, like I said, if I didn't answer your stuff, just Bryan's up next. Head on over. And then after that, you're going to go to the Pro Wrestling Shoot. I promise you, there was a reason why I didn't ask certain things, because they have them. And I wanted to make the interview so that you can listen to all of them. So, Bryan, I thank you. 2K team, I thank you. And can't wait for 2K25.
Thank you, brother.